Hello, welcome back to the OTB channel. Today I'm going to take a quick look at a distro called Makulu Shift, which claims to be the world's first transformable Linux. Quite a claim. See you after the intro. Okay, welcome back. So MakuluLinux, I had a look at the Windows edition. Oh, it must have been well over a year ago now, and I was relatively impressed. It basically used a modified version of the Cinnamon desktop. I can't remember what distro it was based upon, but their latest release is called Makulu Shift. And its unique feature, its unique selling point is the fact that you can mimic a whole range of different desktop environments, be it KDE, be it GNOME, be it an Ubuntu Unity desktop, without actually having to install the desktop environment. It's all done entirely by theming. And you can apparently transform the look and feel of the distro with the click of a single button. So it's a huge claim. It seems to be getting quite positive reviews. So let's have a quick look at the website, then fire it up in a virtual machine, see what we think. So you should be able to see the Makulu website now in front of you, makulu.com. And I have to say the website itself is very colourful, perhaps a little bit disorganised for my liking. But nevertheless, you know, it is what it is. And you can see there's quite a few versions here. We can look at Droid Linux, which I believe is in beta. An Android build of Makulu Linux. That's interesting. An early build, but stable. Okay. The core build, the Flash build, the Windows build, which we looked at over a year ago, and now the Shift build. So here's the claim. It's the first fully transformable operating system. I always worry, you know, when distros make claims like this. Transform your operating system between 8 desktop environments with the click of a button. And within seconds, your operating system's transformed, along with menus, docks, icon sets, cursors, panels, styles, themes, etc., etc. Cutting to the chase, this appears to be a modified GNOME desktop, which is highly themed, or at least it uses the components of the GNOME desktop, and it uses lots of different types of theming to create a whole range of styles. So for those especially new users, I can see the advantage here, because you could get really confused about what desktop environment that you want to install, because let's face it, there's many in Linux. But this is a desktop that claims that you don't need to worry about that. Install the one distro and simply click through the different themes and you can get the look and feel that you're after. For those who may not be new users, but are experienced users but who like playing with different themes, well, this may be a quick and easy way to get those themes without having to go through the donkey work to do it. Personally, I like the donkey work, but that's just me, and I know I'm unusual. It's actually based, I believe, on Debian testing. I'm just going through here. But it also has its own Makulu repo, and I will say that in terms of the repository sources, the software sources, I had a quick look earlier at this, and it seems to have PPAs and a whole range of different software sources, which makes me worry a little bit in terms of its stability. Nevertheless, you know, if it's got essentially a Debian testing base, I think that's pretty good. They're saying that they are looking at putting together an Ubuntu-based one. Okay. Why they'd want to move to that from Debian testing, I'm not sure. Possibly due to stability, because Debian testing is a rolling release, which this will be. But if you look here at some of the standout features, 8 desktop styles, that's probably the best word to use rather than desktop environments, 330 wallpapers, 92 icon sets, blah, 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 14 GTK themes, 41 extensions, so they're using GNOME extensions for a lot of this, huge driver support, and some great software pre-installed and pre-configured. Okay, it's a 2.5 gig download, and when it boots from the live CD, you actually apparently get the option, even in the live environment, to change the themes. I'm not going to do that in the live environment. I'm just going to do a straightforward install. But I'm interested to see how this Makulu Linux has come on. I'm a little bit wary about it claiming to be all things to all men. And although I'm sure there's a massive work gone into this, the more complicated that you make a distro, the more chances there are of things going wrong. So I don't want to judge it before I've installed it. Let's have a look. Right, so here we are at the Makulu desktop. And I have to say, if you've never tried this distro before, it's a little bit disconcerting when you first boot it, because it takes quite a long time to boot, certainly in VirtualBox. And for a time, you think nothing's actually going to happen. But what launches before you get to your desktop is a video, like a little video, which takes you through the different layouts that Makulu has. There's no sound involved, and I have recorded it, and I'll probably finish this video just by playing that demo video, which I think for new users is brilliant. So you can see what we've got now anyway, and we've got the layout menu. I'm not going to do anything with that layout menu at the moment. I'm going to click the installer and see what the installation's like. So start the installation. Let's just go for that and see what happens. Right, so this looks like, I'm presuming, Calamaris, and I need to set English British. There we go. And next. London, it's chosen the right time zone, the right default. I'm going to go for a standard erase the whole disk. I see that it doesn't give us the option here for choosing a swap partition. It's automatically created an 8.8 gig swap partition. I've assigned 8 gig of RAM to this virtual machine. And what's your full name? So let's go for the standard OTB and set a strong password and use the same password for the admin account. Okay. Is that all good? Yes, that's all good. And off we go. And it's doing the installation. Now, I'm not going to put you through all of this. Clearly, it's a standard installation by the look of it, so nothing that we haven't seen before. So once it's installed, I'll reboot and see where we get to. Right, so we're back. And I've just booted into the installed version of Makulu Linux. So first of all, I would say this. It took a little while to install. It seemed to be stuck at less than 10% for about 10-15 minutes, but it then took off and got on with what it needed to do. However, right at the end of the installation, I had a fail message that Makulu had failed to install. There was some sort of error. So I rebooted, but As you can see, it did actually boot. So I'm not entirely sure what was going on there. But that sort of thing, I don't know whether it was VirtualBox specific, that sort of thing lets down what appears to look like a very polished distro on the top. So we get this this settings manager right at the beginning, quick settings. So let's go through what it offers the user who's just installed. The device driver manager. So let's install that and see what it can do for us. And install drivers for supported hardware. Okay, nothing's happening there, so I presume there are no drivers to install. Language settings. Let's set that up. I'm already set up on English United Kingdom. The region is not correct though. ZA, I'm not quite sure where that's meant to be. So let's see if I can change that from here. And nothing seems to actually be happening. Of course, some of this could be due to the fact that it didn't install for me. There we go. So that's happened okay. Right, there was just a delay. System locale, yes, please apply system-wide. And okay, all good, that's worked. Firewall manager. We're again prompted for the password. And let's see what that comes up. Right, so it's UFW clearly. And I like the fact that that's offered right out of the box. So easy to click it on simply by changing the status button there. Is it GUFW it used to be called? I don't know if it still is called, but that's fine. Let's have a look at the network connection. We're already on a wired connection. That would appear to be Network Manager. Keyboard Layout Manager. Okay, so let's just make sure it's in United Kingdom. Simply click Set Layout button below to change your keyboard instantly. So I'm doing that. Select from the panel. I'm assuming that's done it then. Oh, may choose to wait a short while or force the application to, so it's not responding. That's a shame. Let's just do a force quit again and see if we can do that again. Keyboard Layout Manager, United Kingdom, set layout. Does this work? I don't know. We'll see. No, it's not responding. Okay. That's a shame. I had absolutely great hopes for this distro. Snapshot Manager. How does that work? Okay, so that's going to take us through a standard snapshot. Next. And it's telling me I haven't got enough disk space because it needs 12.1 gigs. That's absolutely fine. I didn't really expect it to be able to do that, but it seems to be working, which is good. So let's just knock that off. Right. Check for updates. Okay, what happens if I do that? Whoa, the package manager opens up in full screen. There are 1,237 updates available. Okay, I don't think I'm going to install them at this particular time. And then the settings manager. Right, so this brings up standard GNOME settings. Okay, well that's fine, not a problem there. So let's have a look at appearance settings. The desktop clock. What options do we have? Okay, a range of things. I'm presuming it's talking about this conky here. Do we want to enable or disable the desktop clock? Takes about 20 seconds for the clock to turn on. Please wait 20 to 30 seconds. Well, it's obviously done that one. Let's see if we play with something else. Let's set, I don't know, 12-hour format. And it relaunches. Okay, seems to work. What about weather? Right, you've got to get the code, which I don't have. But okay, all good. Refresh the clock and additional options, system information, weather report, etc., etc. Okay, so it obviously alters your conky there. Theme manager. Right, okay, select a cursor and colour theme below. It will change instantly. This is quite nice to have. Let's go for the blue and black. That's nice. I do like that. And then, of course, let's look at the layout manager, which is what this is really pushing. So, does this work as simply and as easily as it says it does? Is there a way? Flipping gnome, I can't just minimize something on the desktop. Right, let's go for Windows and let's click that. Transforming, please be patient. Right, let's see how long it takes. Well, it's not exactly rapid, I have to say, but it has done it. And if a Windows-style Linux desktop is your thing, that looks very much like a cinnamon menu, you would appear to have that. What about Flash? Let's click on Flash. Okay. As I go through these, I'm going to speed it up a little bit. We seem to be getting a little bit of lag there on the settings manager. But, okay, all good. It's changed it slightly. What about Core? Right, so I've sped that up so you didn't have to wait. It takes 30 seconds or so to change over. So that's quite nice. That's, I suppose, like a GNOME desktop with the pie menu. Oh, this is this little circular thing where you can choose what you want. So, I don't know what all of these things are. Sound and video. So if I click on that, then you can choose the different apps. Right, let's try Dash and see what happens from here. I quite like that wallpaper, and the Dash is clearly geared up to be your Unity desktop. Looks very much like a cinnamon menu, this to me. What's all of this about? Makulu latest news. Okay. Fine. So they've just turned the panel on its end, really, there. Let's go to simple. Okay, we're now on simple. Has the menu changed? Yeah, we have a nice straightforward simple menu there. If I was going to choose a layout on this, I would probably choose this. I can see there it's running 758 megs of RAM on this simple layout, which doesn't seem too bad to me. Right, Unity. Oh, so that'll be the Ubuntu Unity, I'm assuming. Right, so this is the version I think that we had initially. So that's the Unity layout with the menu there, which is like a Unity menu, which is very GNOME-like. I can't say I'm a great fan of that. GNOME, well, you know my feelings on that, but let's have a look. Right, and this is the GNOME menu, but it's not the sort of GNOME that you're used to. It has a bottom panel, and actually, I think that looks pretty good. And last but not least, let's try Plasma. And here we have the Plasma style desktop. So let's have a look. Okay, so a KDE-ish style menu. What you have to remember through all of this is that you're not actually getting KDE or Unity or Windows. you're getting a very highly themed version, a modified version of GNOME. Everything seems to work, and I have to say that I'm blown away by the amount of work that must have gone into this. I mean, pretty stunning, really. I mean, let's explore this in a little bit more detail. Let's go to the panel and dock options. So you can go top or bottom. Okay, that's fine. Let's go to the layout manager again. What about the theme manager? We've been there. What about the wallpaper manager? Configure wallpaper options. Well, let's have a look at next wallpaper and just go through like that. Does that changes? Okay, oh, right, okay. That's quite nice. I'd like to see at a glance just which wallpapers they have here. Select wallpaper. Let's see if it gives us a load of options. Ah, it does. It does. Is this festival in the side? They've got some nice looking wallpapers here. So, wow, you can choose whatever you want. Right, okay. So I'm quite impressed at that. Let's choose, I don't know. Let's choose one like that. That's all good. How do we turn that off and get it to go in? I don't quite know that. Close. There we go. So right-click menu, you've got all the standard stuff. Change desktop background. Right, it brings up that. Configure wallpaper options, presumably how often you want it to change. What else have we got there? Open in terminal, open as root, display settings. Okay, it brings up the standard GNOME settings panel. It does what it says on the tin. It seems to be a highly configurable Linux distro. Let's just have a very quick look at the applications. So, graphics, what have we got installed? Image viewer and my paint. Okay. What about internet? Google Chrome, Discord, and Popcorn Time, which I believe is like a BitTorrent media player. Watch movies and series for free. Okay, Office. I would criticise them for including WPS as standard. I would much prefer to see LibreOffice here, I have to say. But they can take whatever decisions they want. I'm not so sure about this kind of word icon there. Sound and video, what have we got? Hypnotics, which I believe is an IPTV player, an MPV player, and of course that Popcorn Time. System tools, so you have BleachBit installed, Core Control, Driver Manager, Grub Customizer. You set up your input method and everything else. Okay, pretty standard stuff, really. Universal access, utilities. You've got a document viewer, a screenshot app, a terminal, and tweaks. I presume that's GNOME tweaks. And that's exactly what it looks like to me. Okay, guys, look. It's a really flexible distro, and the amount of work that's gone into this impresses me a great deal. I do sort of feel that given the couple of issues that I had with the installation and it failing, tends to show that perhaps it's got a few little cuts here and there that just need to be sorted out. And if I ran the updates on this, I may find that it was absolutely fine. But with 1,200 updates, I'm not going to run them in a virtual machine. Generally, though, despite the fact that it said the installation failed, clearly the installation didn't fail, and it's running pretty well. Overall, then, I think it's an interesting distro. MakuluLinux seems to be going from strength to strength, and as I said, I'm just stunned at the work that's been put in. So before we go and have a chat about this, let me just play you that video that came up on first boot of the live ISO, just so you can see how much effort has been put into telling you what this distro is all about. Right, so that's Makulu Shift. My thoughts. By the way, before I start, the wallpaper changer was called Variety. I don't know where I've got Festival from. I think that's a speech synthesis engine. But okay, huge amount of work's gone into this distro, and I think graphically and thematically, it's really, really impressive. And I would say it's come on leaps and bounds since looking at the original Windows edition. And I think the concept of it is brilliant. I really do. That you can just choose one distro and at the click of a button, change it to what you like it to be. There were a few issues, though, as you know. I first of all had the installation issue. I'm not going to criticize the distro for that because that could be VirtualBox specific. I haven't used this on real hardware, so you know we have to give it some due that might have just been because of the way I've installed it. Nevertheless, it happened. I was able to reboot, and I was able to reboot into the system. The system itself seemed to largely work. There was the issue with setting the keyboard layout, but that's a minor thing. And overall, I came away from this thinking, yeah, I think it's quite a good distro. Do I think this is good on a rolling release base, such as Debian testing? Yes, I do, potentially. However, just like an Arch system, any rolling release, you need to keep it up to date. And seeing 1,200 updates there, I think that the chances of breakage are quite high. And I think he would be well advised to go to a net install distro where at least you're pulling down the latest packages at installation time. Would I use it? No, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. My feeling is, although I thought it was very pretty and incredibly clever, I felt there was too much to go wrong with it. It's also based on GNOME, and you know my thoughts on that, so I'd be unlikely to use it, even though it's Debian at its heart. But Debian with lots of add-ons and extra repositories, which always worries me a little bit. I like to keep things simple. Nevertheless, you know, I came away reasonably impressed. I get the feeling that this is a distro that will go from strength to strength. I sort of saw some similarities here with this distro and Garuda, which was another distro that I had qualms about when I first looked at it. But when I looked at it a second time, it seemed far more solid and stable. I just feel this needs a little bit of time and perhaps a little bit more care just to get it feeling more stable. I suppose that's ultimately what I'm saying. It didn't feel quite as solid and stable as it should to me. Took an awful long time to boot and took quite a long time to install. Certainly had some positives though. I liked the intro video that came with it. When we first booted, I thought that was a great intro, and I thought that would be really useful for new users. But anyway, just my thoughts. Take what you want out of it. That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to support the channel, please do so on patreon.com/OldTechBloke, or just go to my website and buy me a pint. Either way is good. I will put up the names of my Patreons here, and I won't read out all the names today. I'll simply thank them all. Thanks for sticking with it, guys, even though I had a 3-month hiatus. It did me the world of good, and I've enjoyed playing with Linux while I've been off as well, which has been, brilliant. So, guys, I will see you next week, and hope you have a great weekend.